Welcome to Spiritual Dialogues with Father Udon de Castro. We are here at Cariana Lay Monastic Community. I'm your host, Brother Lodi, and with us is Sister Tachi. Sister?
Yes, Father, so are we going to discuss again? The sins that are going to be committed when this Amazon Synod begins to take place.
Yes, so we are trying to settle down and clarify the confusion that is going on in the Catholic Church. And we foresee that the coming Synod of the bishops held in Rome with regard to the Amazon region that will be taking place yet next month is going to completely confuse everybody in the world, especially the Catholics. And since it has not yet taken place, it's better for us to warn Catholics of what is coming so that they can be prepared, because as they say, if you're prepared, you are forewarned. To know what's the future is forewarned, and Christ had always prophesied about what is going to happen in the future so that we are always forewarned. So this confusion that is happening right now has been detected since the first Bishop Synod on the family life.
Yes.
And we notice that Pope Francis, together with some cardinals who were officers of the Synod, had proposed something that was against the teaching of the Catholic Church. And in spite of the fact that it was against the teaching of the Catholic Church, and in spite of the fact that majority rejected the proposition of Pope Francis, which is the remarriage of, the marriage of those who are committing adultery, allowing them to remarry and to receive Holy Communion, though it was rejected by the majority of the Bishop Synod, the Vatican had still proceeded to enforce it. So we foresee the same thing that will happen in the Synod for the Amazon. In the latest Bishop Synod on the clerical abuse, the same thing happened. In other words, they did not analyze the problem, they did not propose any solution, and their conclusion was just let everybody continue with their sins. When the Synod was supposed to cure or correct that sin, the outcome is let everybody just continue in their sins and there is nothing we can do about it, so let's go ahead. So we see exactly the same thing that will happen in the Synod of the Amazon that is coming next month, that will occur next month, and it's going to be totally a distraction of the Catholic Church, because everything will go against the teaching of the Catholic Church.
Before that, Father, what is the real intention of Synod? Centuries back, seemingly that Synod now is quite different from the Synod that was occurred.
Well, in general, whenever the Catholic Church would like to clarify certain doctrines, what they do is they hold ecumenical council. They do not use or they do not hold Bishop Synod, because Bishop Synod only handle local problems, just sectoral problem or national problems or diocesan problem, very small problems. When it is a big problem, it's always an ecumenical council, or the Pope himself does it. Usually the Pope alone can solve those kinds of problems, but the Pope always summons the whole Catholic Church to guide him or to confirm that his solution is right. Of course, that is working on the assumption that you have a good Pope.
Yes, Father.
Now, if you have a bad Pope, as has happened in the Catholic Church, we have had 40 anti-popes. If they try to give a solution to the problems of the Catholic Church, they would have given the wrong solution.
Yes, Father.
So that's a big problem there. However, God always raises up saints who would try to solve whatever confusion that is happening in the Catholic Church. We had just finished celebrating the feast of Saint Pope Pius X, who was a really great holy pope who really settled and tried to solve as much problem as he could, and he was able to do so. We have Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, who is not a pope but just an ordinary saint, who helped resolve many of the problems of the Catholic Church. Saint Peter Damian, and so on and so on. So anyway, the problem we have is that we have seen the document that the Vatican had prepared, Instrumentum Laboris, you call that, for the upcoming Bishop Synod on the Amazon. And everybody have studied the document, and all of them agree that it's going to destroy the Catholic Church.
Okay.
How will it destroy the Catholic Church? To what you call the sin of scandal.
What are those scandals, Father?
Of course, Brother Lodi, you are in the movie industry, and that industry is full of scandals.
Yes, Father.
But that's not the word that is referred to in theology. It's another word. The meaning of scandal in the movie industry is different from the word scandal from the theological sense.
Yes, Father.
St. Thomas of Aquinas describes or defines scandal as any word or action that you do in order to influence somebody to commit sin. So any word or action to influence another to commit sin. That's scandal.
I see. That's what Christ told the disciples. Don't allow you to be the cause of the sin of another.
Yeah. In fact, in the Gospel, Christ says that if you are going to commit scandal, it's better for you to tie a millstone around your neck and jump into the lake, because the punishment that God will give you is much, much more grievous than you tying a stone around your neck and jumping into the lake. So it's a very serious sin, and Christ said something very serious.
Because you allowed somebody to commit sin.
Not only allow, influence. No? Because you cannot really do anything when other people commit sin.
Yeah, that's right.
So scandal is when in word or action you influence others. You actually influence others to commit sin. Now, the Bishop's Synod meeting of 2013 on the family is in fact already an act of scandal on the part of the Pope and some of the cardinals, because they were influencing people who have left their wives or their husband to remarry, thus committing adultery, and still receive Holy Communion, which is another sin of sacrilege. That is a sin of scandal, and that's a very serious sin in the eyes of Christ. And many other scandal has taken place, fomented by the Vatican, like, for instance, encouraging those who are gays to remain gay.
Yeah.
Or those transsexual to remain transsexual, so on. To encourage them to remain in their state of sin is scandal. And this has no end. It has happened practically every week and so on. And with the Vatican Synod on the Amazon, they are going to commit a lot of scandal by influencing other people to commit sin.
Is that so? That's one. I'm sure there are a lot other
Yes.
sins that could come out of this.
there is much, much more, but it's too complicated for us to discuss, and the people will just get more confused. So
yes, at least-
we're trying to concentrate on the
Yes.
major things that people will understand. So the first thing is we have to clarify what is scandal, because what is going to be committed is a very serious sin of scandal committed by the Vatican, committed by bishops, committed by cardinals, and even committed by Pope Francis, because he's the one heading the Bishop Synod in the Vatican. And it is his favorite topic.
I was just thinking, being the Pope and then the others being heads of their church, it is going to be influencing and encouraging others more, because if they believe in them, they will really do what they say.
Yes, in fact, like in the Philippines, the faith of the Filipinos is simple. It's not the good kind of faith. It's a simple kind in the sense that if you're a priest, they will believe whatever
Yeah,
you say.
that's
If you're a
true.
bishop, they'll believe whatever you say.
Yeah.
If you're the Pope, they will believe what you're saying. So they will really believe whatever the priest or the bishop or the Pope says, which makes the sin of scandal more serious, because the one listening to them are not discerning whether what they are hearing is true or not. A very good example of this is the Pope has just condemned capital punishment, which is a teaching of the Catholic Church. And all the bishops are following it. The whole world is, in fact, following the Pope's heresy. This is heresy.
Yes, because it's yes.
Because it's a teaching of the Catholic Church that it is all right for the head of state to impose capital punishment. So since they are encouraging other people to encourage or to discourage them from observing the command of Christ on imposing capital punishment, they are committing a scandal. So now we are filled with scandalous people, and the sin of scandalous is destroying so many people because they are being influenced to believe heresies. And that's a sin.
Yes. Yes. Maybe because it's good you're explaining the word scandal, because before you just think if it's a scandal, it's some really, some obscene thing that causes you, wow, terrible.
That's a movie scandal.
Yes,
Yeah.
but this is really something. It really encourages and influences others by your word and action, and this is clear.
Yeah.
Clear.
Because we had properly defined
Yes.
a scandal from the works of the fathers of the church. Yeah.
Father, you mentioned about the ordinary people, the ordinary lay people, that they have a simple mind. Isn't it the duty of the priest, those who are spiritually enlightened, to teach these people how to have real faith, enlightened about the teaching of Christ?
Well, yeah, the problem we have really is that most of the lay people are not enlightened. They do not really know their Catholic religion. They, as the word is saying, they have a simple mind. Their simple understanding of the Catholic religion is not really the deep kind. And the reason why the ordinary lay people is like this is because the bishops and the priests are like that. Meaning to say, if you will notice, most priests and bishops in their homilies can only explain the dictionary meaning of the gospel. The dictionary. In other words, the words of the gospel only. The dictionary meaning of the words of the gospel. But they do not know the mystical or the spiritual meaning of the gospel. So they cannot enlighten the people.
I see. Father, we have only 1 minute, please.
So we have a problem that most common people are not well informed of the Catholic faith. And our great fear is the fact that when the Bishop Synod on the Amazon takes place and the Vatican imposes the findings and the instrumentum laboris on the Catholic Church, most of the people will just accept it. In other words, they will be
Yeah.
the object of the sin of scandal, and of course, they will go to hell, together with the priests and the bishops who scandalize them. So the scandalizer and those who are scandalized, both are going to lose their souls.
Thank you very much, Father. Brothers, sisters, these spiritual dialogues of Father Udon de Castro reminds me of the parable of the lamp, which enlightens the mind of the reader, the mind of people, to the true teaching of Christ. Please continue watching Spiritual Dialogues with Father Udon de Castro. Thank you very much.
Hosanna, Hosanna.